好啦，接住落嚟啦，係一場可能。
Welcome back to the Hong Kong Coliseum finals day here at the LI-NING Hong Kong Open. Next up is women's singles and Putri Kusuma Wardani, the first Indonesian in the women's singles final here for 26 years, up against Han Yue, the number 3 seed from China. Well, as far as the women's singles draw was concerned, by a quarter-final stage, we had only 3 seeds, none in the top half of the draw, as you can see, 5 different nationalities, because 3 players from Thailand. 1 seed only left at semi-final stage, but 4 different nationalities. That's always very good to see. But as far as Wardani was concerned, well, she in her second final in 2 weeks, because she was beaten in the final a week ago in Taipei. So a really wonderful run for the Indonesian here in Hong Kong, and again last week. Well, as far as the race to the World Tour finals are concerned, Busanan Ongbangrangpan, by virtue of her quarter-final here in Hong Kong, will go up to number 1 on the list. Han Yue, win or lose today's final, will go above Okuhara and become the number 3. And Wardani is way down at 32 at the moment, and win or lose today's final should go up into the early 20s. And by our calculations, 23 on the race to the World Tour finals following this week here in Hong Kong.
Ladies and gentlemen, finals of women's singles. 各位嘉賓、各位觀眾，女子單打決賽。
So, the 2 women's singles finalists led out by Cheng Qingfeng of Chinese Taipei, who will be the umpire for this one. Manfred Shum from Hong Kong, China, will be the service judge. But here the 2 players led out by Putri Kusuma Wardani. What a couple of weeks she's had. Second final in as many weeks, that is extraordinary. And the first Indonesian in the women's singles final here at the Hong Kong Open for 26 years, since Lydia De La Wijaya back in 1998, when she lost in the final to a certain Camilla Martin.
Umpire Cheng Qingfeng of Chinese Taipei. 裁判來自中環台北嘅鍾錦峰。Service judge Manfred Shum of Hong Kong, China. 發球裁判來自中國香港嘅沈世傑。Please welcome first runner-up of Chinese Taipei Open 2024, world ranking number 31, Putri Kusuma Wardani of Indonesia.
Second final in 2
Please
weeks for
welcome first
Wardani.
runner-up of Thailand Open
Quite amazing.
2024, world ranking number 8, Han Yue of China.
Han Yue of China, the number 3 seed in her second final of the year, having lost in the final of the Thailand Open.
Good luck. Okay, we have black.
This is the fourth meeting
go.
between these two players,
Black,
as you
you
can
take it,
see,
go.
and Han Yue has won all 3 previous
Black, you wanna
encounters.
close. Side, and you.
So
Let's see.
Han Yue has chosen to start the far end. So the players will move their kit bags before the warm-up period begins. Hasn't won a title, Han Yue, since the Arctic Open in October last year. That was a 500 event, so it's very nearly a year since her last title. 24 years of age now, and she actually went down 1 place on the world ranking earlier this week to number 8, has been as high as 6. This is her 4th appearance at the Hong Kong Open, and prior to this year, her best was a quarter-final. That was last year when she lost to Go Jin Wei of Malaysia in 3 games. This year, she's beaten Aya Ohori in the quarter-final stage, the number 5 seed, the Asian Games bronze medalist, needed 3 games there. And the semi-final against Cho Chu Wong came from 3-8 down in the first game to 18-12 up. And then it went 18 all. It was most peculiar scoring pattern in that semi-final. So to Putri Kusuma Wardani, who is 22 years of age from Tangerang, the western suburbs of the capital Jakarta. She went up 3 places after being in the final of the Chinese Taipei Open last week to 31 on the world ranking. The 3rd highest Indonesian player on those world rankings, incidentally. Now, in the second round, Tai Su Ying, the 3-time former champion, sadly had to retire after just 4 minutes of play. She's been struggling with numerous knee injuries, and that was sad to see. But what a semi-final we witnessed yesterday against Miyazaki. She was 12-18 down in the first game. In fact, she was 2 game points down at 18-20, won it 22-20. Then she was 12-7 up in the second, having won the first, Wardani, and then lost it 21-23 and came through 21-18 in the deciding game in 1 hour and 16 minutes. Steen, you were calling that one. It was extraordinary scoring pattern.
It was a match where it was fair to say that the nerves were jangling with both players. There was a lot of momentum swings for no obvious reason at all. Then they suddenly became nervous and really wanted this win here.
Yeah. Well, it happens. It was such a big occasion, and both of them being youngsters. Wardani, 22 years of age, and Miyazaki, just 18. So the 2 coaches, that's Luo Yigang. Now he had a glimpse of Riona Manaki.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Putri Kusuma Wardani, Indonesia. On my left, Han Yue, China. Han Yue to serve, level, play.
So the women's singles final gets underway. Han Yue of China, far side of the court, the number 3 seed against the unseeded Wardani. Well, Steen, it's been a very good day for the number 3 seeds so far. Number 3 seeds won the women's doubles and the men's doubles.
Yeah, there's a chance that it could continue.
Well, there's no doubt that Han Yue is the more experienced of the two players in the final. She's today contesting a 10th World Tour tournament final. She's already won 3 titles. That's a beauty. Whereas Wardani, this is just her 3rd World Tour tournament final. She has won one, that was the Spain Masters back in 2021, when she was ranked 200 in the world and aged just 18 years, 10 months and 3 days.
That's right. That was a good win.
You called that one,
I think I did. She beat Line Kristoffersen from Denmark.
That's right.
And the thing here is that I guess she can play a little bit more free compared to yesterday, where I think she really wanted to reach this. Of course, you want to win a match when you play badminton, but it would mean a lot to reach this Super 500 final. And I think she was very nervous from the go. Here, she's playing a little bit more upwards, and you ranked much higher than Wardani, so I'm expecting her to start a bit better. The question mark is whether the actual playing strength gap is too big. Whether the rankings, in fact, do reflect the playing strength.
That's just long. Well, when you talk about playing strengths and represented by their rankings and so on, I think there may be quite a few people who don't really know an awful lot about Wardani. And just tell us a little bit as how you read the qualities of her game.
Yeah, she's got good technical skills, a good attack. She's a reasonably tall girl.
5'7".
The downsides of it could perhaps be defensive footwork when she's facing a lot of pressure, and perhaps not having as many dangerous shots as some of the players at the top of the ranks. But when I'm saying this, that almost all people would think, of course, the ranking reflects the playing strength. That's not always the case, because people get better, and the older players tend to drop a little bit in playing strength and so on. And it takes time before the ranking is adjusted, and there's some signs that Wardani is making her way upwards in the ranking.
Just wide. And back level. Also, sometimes the ranking isn't reflective because it's just the best
10 tournaments.
Exactly. So if players, and neither of these have done that, but I was calling a player earlier this week who played 29 tournaments within the ranking period. So very nearly 2/3
you can ditch.
They can ditch.
Yeah.
And of course, it's the worst results that you ditch.
Yeah. And I think there was a time where she was out. I don't know if it was with injury or something. I thought she'd gone into the police, I recall, because I saw a picture of her in a police uniform.
December 22, she qualified as a national police officer.
Okay. So we have to be careful what we say.
We certainly have to behave, Steve.
Yeah.
That was halfway down the net.
Service over. 6-all.
Well, before finals got underway today, I was working out that it is mathematically possible for all 5 titles to be won by players from 5 different countries. for that to happen, of course, Wardani would have to win this because we've got an all-Chinese mixed doubles final coming up next. Oh, that's wild.
8-6.
I think winning this first game here could be crucial, or it is crucial the way I see it for Wardani. I think Han Yue chose to start on the non-preferred side from her point of view. Playing with the drift here in the opening game is the Chinese. And her playing style, which is much rally style play, would be benefited by playing the other side where she can push her shots to the backcourt a little bit extra.
That was a nice block.
Good play, fantastic rally.
8-4.
Super placement. I think Han Yue has the advantage here in terms of speed of movement, and that means that to make up for that, Wardani has to have really good shot quality.
Service over. 9-8.
Yeah, I thought Han Yue was moving very well in her semi-final yesterday against Cho Wong.
Thank you.
I described her yesterday when I was calling that semi-final, Han Yue, as while she's got some nice technical skills, she didn't have the variety of shots of maybe some of the other top players in the world ranking.
Yeah.
But her movement is so good, she's very good at retrieving.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Just long of the back line, and it's a 3-point advantage for the number 3 seed Han Yue at the mid-game interval here of the opening game. So 11-8 as play resumes in this opening game. The advantage with Han Yue. That came off the frame of the racket.
I wonder if there's still a little bit of sideways drift. I think we've seen over the past couple of days a lot of shots gone wide in the right-hand side of the field.
As we're looking down now, yeah.
Good pressure.
Brilliant. What a final shot from Wardani.
Service over. 9-12.
Just seems to clip over the shuttle there. There was no real follow through, was there? Lovely. against it. You know, Steve, we've seen an awful lot of players this week. Both these players in the women's singles final, one's wearing compression stockings on the calf muscles, the other one's got strapping on what appears to be the lower Achilles.
Good play.
Oh, it's just wide. We saw Lee So-hee strap her calf muscles. Well, is the playing conditions here? Is the floor quite hard? I mean, it's a wooden floor. I know it's a wooden floor.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's just an observation that everybody seems to be struggling with calf muscles and Achilles a little bit.
We saw Liu Xiangshu had the same taping as
yes, I saw that.
And there was also a player removing the stockings and having the calf strapped. I think it's mostly sort of the wear and tear of playing. I think you're in the second cycle of the World Tour with this, is it 31 tournaments altogether?
Yeah.
And I think players have not really adjusted to the number of tournaments. They've got to be selective in what they play and also recover and prioritize practice as well.
Yes, and I think the second 6 months of the year, or certainly after the Olympics, there's more of the higher grade tournaments. It's rather top heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, you know, quite a number of the 300 events in the early stages of the year, and a lot of the 750s.
Even the 500s here.
Yeah, and 500s, yeah, the second half of the year.
Where there's an amount of top players, but not all of them, just like the Olympic qualification period. They would basically play all the tournaments all the time, which makes no sense when you analyze it and think about it. But it's easy to get that feel as a player, and to do, in my opinion, the right thing is to trust in yourself, to trust in your training, and believe that if you train well, then results will follow.
So be more selective, as you said earlier.
I think so. But there's also an issue in terms of the world ranking, because the way the world ranking works, it can be very difficult to make your way up, because it works a little bit slow. It takes results from a year back. And I can understand why the players are feeling the way that I think they're feeling. That they need to play a lot, need to be there to capitalize on the opportunities.
And also pressure from, you know, sponsors, and, you know, here we are. Wardani is the third ranked Indonesian. She wants to start pushing the players above her. Same for Han Yue.
Exactly. Oi, fantastic save.
Great reactions. Look at that.
16.
She did well to reach the backhand net shot.
Thank you.
Three straight points, and only 2 points in it. There's possibly the sideways drift coming into play that you were talking about earlier.
I don't know, but it seems like there's more that goes out of that sideline there. I don't think it's very significant, but perhaps just a tiny little bit.
Subs over. 15, 17.
Well, women's singles is the only discipline here at the Hong Kong Open where players from Indonesia have not won a title. We were discussing it earlier in the week when you consider that, you know, great players like Suzy Susanti and Mia Ordina in the past from Indonesia, and neither of them managed to win this Hong Kong Open.
16-17.
And it's an extraordinary 26 years since Lydia Diliwajaya was in the final. Oh, got the net cord.
Saxova, 18-16.
And they have struggled a little bit, Indonesia, in terms of finding not strong women's singles players, but a group of strong women's singles players since the likes of Susanti and Mia Ordina, who won the Uber Cup here twice in Hong Kong when it was staged in 96, 98.
It's long at the back line.
Saxova, 17-18.
Good play.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. When your opponent is at the nets and you manage to play a cross-court net shot winner, then you know that's class.
And that's some of the shots that brings players up the ranking when they've got that little extra when it's needed the most.
Overdone it. And that error on the net shots means that Han Yue has 3 game point opportunities. Nice block. Yeah, well played.
Saxova, 18-20.
Wide.
So on her second game point opportunity, Han Yue converts and takes the opening game. 21-18 in 19 minutes. A very good opening game played by both players. But the advantage to Han Yue. This is the final rally. Push well wide of the mark. So the players back on court for the start of the second game.
Level. Play.
Number 3 seed Han Yue of China having won the opening game 21-18. What has Wardani got left?
Love.
Just along on the back line, she's got to be careful from that far side of the court, hitting with the drift now. Another one goes long.
3 love.
Nice. Steve, I was mentioning earlier that for Wardani, it's a second World Tour tournament final in 2 weeks. Do you remember the last women's singles player to do that?
In 2 weeks. Was Simujin in the final of Korea? No.
No. We were there, and there was 2 players that achieved it. There was 2 players in 2 finals in 2 weeks.
Was it Yamaguchi and no, it wasn't.
Chen Yufei and An Se-young in Singapore and Indonesia.
That's right.
They won one and won the other. And if you're interested, Chen Yufei won in Indonesia the second tournament. An Se-young had won in Singapore earlier this year.
Yeah. That's great.
But that's the level of the players who managed to achieve this, and that should be really recognised, that Wardani has achieved something quite remarkable. 2 finals in 2 weeks. Takes a huge amount of effort.
6-1.
I have to admit that in the later stages of the first game, I got a little bit uneasy about my prediction that it was needed for Wardani to win the first game to stand a chance here, because I thought, well, she can attack, so maybe playing with the drift isn't that bad for her if she can sort of get the initiative first. But so far, it's been really bad. I think she needs to take a lot more initiative. There's attack on that one. Attack.
Oh, perfection on the net shot from Han Yue.
Yeah.
8-1.
8-1. Look at that. Look
Wow.
at that.
Service over. 2-8.
Oh, that's perfection.
Service over. 9-2.
Nice block.
Yeah. The pace is not high enough. It takes a lot to attack.
And I think that she feels that she can't really use the back of the court, Wardani.
Exactly. And she's shown in the opening stages that she can't really. what she could do is play cross clears, where she gets a little bit more ground to work with.
10.
Oh, brilliant. That's a good lift.
Yeah.
So it's a very handsome lead, an 8-point advantage,
11-3.
having already won the opening game in favour of Han Yue. So a game and 11-3 the advantage to Han Yue.
Play.
As the umpire calls for play to get underway once more.
It's also landed in.
12-3.
Yeah, and I don't know if you spotted that, Steen, but Wardani turned and talked to her coach. And then he shook his head.
3.
I don't know what that was about.
No. So far it looks like Han Yue is cruising, and I guess she must be quite satisfied for that, because
14-3.
she's having a home tournament next week in Changzhou, and playing a tough final here that could hamper her chances there. So if she can get a win here relatively easy, then that bodes well for her on home soil, where she's perhaps the top Chinese player. Chen Yufei is out with injury, has protected ranking. He Bingjiao has quit, and Wang Jiyi withdrew from this tournament here.
Good rally. Oh, super smash. I don't think the clear was quite deep enough. I think that Wardani is so afraid of hitting long that she's now hitting short.
Yeah, and I would even say it's a good rally for Han Yue. For Wardani, it was just delaying the inevitable. So she's got to come up with something else. But it also suggests here that there has been a little difference in strength level at quarterfinal stage between the two parts of the draw. Tai Tzu-Ying having to retire. Kim Ga-eun lost to Kersfeld. She won Korea Open, didn't she, Kim Ga-eun?
She did. That's a beauty, absolute beauty. And the other seed in this top half of the draw was Kim Jun, who's only just coming back from chickenpox or measles or something.
Exactly. Lost to Ratchanok.
That's perfection.
Service over. 5-16.
But it's instant feedback for this lady here in terms of what's needed to develop in order to be
Service over.
competitive with
17,
top 10. It's
5.
just to go back home to Jakarta, watch some video, see what's missing at the moment.
Just long of the back line. What's
Service
interesting,
over.
though, Steen,
6.
is that
17.
Wardani is playing her second Hong Kong Open. And a year ago, she lost in the second round to her opponent of today in 3 games.
Wow.
21-19 in the deciding game.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, that's well taken. I think that the physical,
18.
mental and
6.
emotional effort to get to 2 finals in 2 weeks, I think it is suddenly taking its toll.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, well taken. 2 points away, Han Yue, from her first title in very nearly a year. Since winning the Arctic Open, also a 500 events in Helsinki last October.
Thank you. Nineteen, 6.
Well, Han Yue immediately turning and pointing towards back line, asking her coach, would it have gone long?
19.
Difficult to see on the flat game there, but one of the better rallies for Wardani here in this second game.
Nice. And that's a lovely way to bring up match point opportunities.
Service over.
Super return.
20. Match point 7. Thank you.
Well, in all honesty, she's cruised this second game as Han Yue. 20, match point 7. Oh, that's a beauty too. And a big smile for Han Yue as she wins a second Super 500 title. Almost a year after her first in Finland last October. Today's final was convincing. After that tight opening game, 21-18, taking the second 21-7. A match lasting just 35 minutes.
喺第二場決賽嘅時候咧，我同大家介紹過喺香港公開賽嘅歷史上面，男子雙打嘅實力係以1-0
And that really was a very impressive performance by Han Yue. This is the final rally. Super net shot once again, getting the net cord. And the delight for Han Yue. A 4th World Tour title in total. Her second at Super 500 level. Confirmation of that scoreline, 21-18, 21-7 in 35 minutes.
女單嘅説話咧，其實過去大家仲可能好記憶猶新嘅謝杏科，第一次喺香港公開賽攞冠軍嘅時候只係得18歲，戴資穎第一次喺香港攞冠軍都係20歲。咁另外陳雨菲喺香港攞冠軍嘅時候係21歲。 今日我哋見到印尼嘅華丹尼，佢今日喺香港公開賽呢個歷程裏面咧，亦都打出咗好多嘅潛質，俾我哋感覺到未來佢好有可能會唔會成為下一屆香港公開賽歷來第一位印尼女將可以贏到女單冠軍咧？過去未有過嘅喎，我哋俾掌聲鼓勵下華丹尼。好啦，各位觀眾、各位嘉賓，頒獎典禮現在開始，我哋有請運動員進場。Ladies and gentlemen, prize presentation now begins. Players, march in.
So to the prize presentation for the women's singles finalists.
李寧2024香港公開羽毛球錦標賽，匯豐世界羽聯世界巡迴賽超級500女子單打 Women's Singles of LI-NING Hong Kong Open Badminton Championship 2024, part of the HSBC BWF World Tour Super 500. 亞軍 runner-up Putri Kusuma Wardani, Indonesia.
Wardani can be mighty proud of herself. Only the fourth player from Indonesia to contest the women's singles final here, 26 years after the last. But for Han Yue, it was a masterful performance today in the final. Tough opening game, and she really cruised through the second game by playing some wonderful badminton.
Mr. Lam Ming Kwong, Director of Leisure and Cultural Services, will now present the medals for us.
The first ever final for Wardani at Super 500 level. The second World Tour tournament final in 2 weeks. That is very special indeed. So to the champion, Han Yue, a second Super 500 title to add to her collection.
Now we have Mr. Tom Wai Lun, Chairman of Badminton Association of Hong Kong, China, to present the trophies. Thank you, 主席。接住我哋請李寧集團執行董事李麒麟先生為我哋頒發支票。And now we have the pleasure to call upon Mr. Li Qilin, Executive Director of LI-NING Group, to present the prize monies. 唔該晒李生。跟住我哋請體育委員會成員雷洪德博士為我哋致送紀念品。Now we have Dr. Lobolui Hong Tek, member of Sports Commission, to present souvenirs. 唔該晒雷博士。And last but not least, 中國香港羽毛球總會副主席黃守明醫生為我哋獻花。Last but not least, Dr. Stephen Wong, Vice Chairman of the Association of Hong Kong, China, to present the brocades. 唔該晒黃醫生，咁啊有請各位頒獎嘉賓同兩位優勝者影張合照留念。對於球迷嚟講，我諗都有理由相信同埋期待喺未來幾屆嘅香港公開賽會有更多機會，或者會見到韓愈，會見到華丹尼，仲要見到一個更好嘅韓愈，更強嘅華丹尼，係咪啊？多謝晒各位頒獎嘉賓。兩位球手分別都係年僅22歲同埋24歲，仲有好遠大嘅前途喺前邊。 希望我哋香港公開賽能夠成為佢哋踏上世界舞台更高台階嘅一個踏腳石。Congratulations, Putri. 年輕人係需要多啲鼓勵嘅，大家唔介意俾一輪掌聲華丹尼係嘛？
Well, the first three finals won by the number 3 seeds. It won't happen in our next final because it's the number 1 against the number 2 seeds. It's Feng Yangzhe and Huang Dongping in the mixed doubles final against Jiang Zhengbang and Wei Yaxin.
阿爺，恭喜你！
Welcome back to the Hong Kong Coliseum. It's finals day here at the Li-Ning Hong Kong Open. After the women's singles, we turn our attention to mixed doubles. It's an all-Chinese affair and it features the number 1 against the number 2 seeds, Feng Yangzhe and Huang Dongping, up against Jiang Zhengbang and Wei Yaxin. Well, as far as the mixed doubles draw from quarterfinal is concerned, only 3 different flags, 4 pairs from China, 3 from Malaysia and 1 from Hong Kong. Makes it the least diverse of all 5 disciplines, but 6 seeds at quarterfinal stage, 3 in each half of the draw. The Hong Kong pair made it through and to the semi-final stage, as did Chen and To from Malaysia. But it sets up a 4th all-Chinese mixed doubles final here, 9 years after the last. And it's the first time in 10 years we've had the number 1 against the number 2 seeds in the mixed doubles final. Well, as far as the race to the World Tour finals is concerned, you can see the number 2 seeds in today's final are already number 1 on the race to those World Tour finals. Win or lose today's final, of course, they will consolidate their position at number 1. Feng Yangzhe and Huang Dongping are way down at 23 at the moment. Depending on whether they win or lose today's final, they'll either go up 4 or 5 places to either 18 or 19. So still a long way off qualifying for the World Tour finals, the end of year finale.
Ladies and gentlemen, finals of mixed doubles. 各位嘉賓、各位觀眾，混合雙打決賽。
So the mixed doubles finalists led out by the umpire for this match, Trish Gubb from New Zealand. Sailesh Kulkarni of India will be the service judge. And you really can't get any better than have the #1 seeds against the #2 seeds in the final of a tournament. Yes, I think the Chinese fans will be happy because they're guaranteed a win in the mixed doubles discipline, which is a guaranteed 8th title to a Chinese pair in the 15 Hong Kong Opens since the inception of the Super Series and now World Tour.
The contours will be conducted by Mr. Lim Hoa Shai on behalf of HSBC. 為我哋摘號嘅係代表香港上海匯豐銀行嘅林華西先生。
Our guest from
Umpire
HSBC to make the toss of the coin.
裁判
Trish Gubb
來自新西
from New
蘭嘅
Zealand, the
Trish Gubb。
umpire, as I was mentioning.
Service judge Salish Gurney
It was
of
her birthday
India.
yesterday.
法庭
Was
裁
it?
判來自印度嘅 Salish
The service
Gurney。
judge, Kulkarni.
Please welcome champion of French Open 2024, world ranking #2, Feng Yanjie, Huang Dongping of China.
The reigning Asian champions, Feng Yanjie and Huang
Please
Dongping.
welcome champion of Indonesia Open 2024, world ranking #3, Zhang Zhenbang, Wei Yaxin of China.
Zhang Zhenbang and Wei Yaxin. Wei Yaxin is the defending champion, but as a pair, they're in their 5th final of the year. To say that Zhang Zhenbang and Wei Yaxin have been playing well is an understatement.
Black for you.
But this is the 9th meeting between the two pairs.
Black. Serve? Who will serve? Thank you. Who will receive?
So
So
the
receive,
#1
which
seeds
end?
have chosen to
Back end?
serve,
Thank you.
Feng Yanjie and Huang Dongping. For Huang Dongping, this is actually her 3rd final at the Hong Kong Open, still looking for a first Hong Kong Open title. She was in the women's doubles final back in 2016 and the mixed doubles final in 2018. But we're looking first of all at Zhang Zhenbang, who is 23 years of age, from Guilin, and he and his partner are enjoying their 3rd consecutive week at their career high of 3. This is the lady that's the defending champion, because a year ago she won the title with Guo Xinhua, which I think was just a one-off playing together. It was their first time playing together and they won the title, but now back with her regular partner. I'm not quite sure why they were split or tried in different partnerships. Now, as far as they're concerned, they had their toughest match in the very first round against Ferdinandia and Wijaya. Beat the Hong Kong pair, the home favourites, in the semi-final, and look at the scoreline, 21-12, 21-6 in just 31 minutes. They were outstanding, I thought, in their semi-final. So Feng Yanjie is a very tall man, the 23-year-old from Tianjin. He is 195, which is just under 6'5". He's even taller than Victor Axelsen. So for the 29-year-old Huang Dongping, will it be 3rd time lucky? 3rd final here. 2nd in mixed doubles in 2018. She lost in the final when playing with Wang Yilu, lost out to Watanabe and Higashino. And the women's doubles final that she played 8 years ago, she played with Li Yinhui, lost out to a certain Pedersen and Newell of Denmark. Well, they've defeated all of their opponents in 2 straight games, as you can see, including the semi-final against the #4 seeds, the Olympic quarter-finalists Chen Tang-zhe and To Yi-wei, getting revenge